one of the reasons we were excited to be a part of your journey and as investors and everything we're doing for you, because we didn't see many of these come on our table. In blockchain, everyone's doing all sorts of different things. But I told the team, I remember, Greg, a couple weeks ago, I said, we're not going to see another energy derivatives blockchain-based exchange in this bull market. So let's do this, because this is something we don't have in our portfolio, and it's something that needs to be done by a bunch of guys who know what they're doing. And it's really refreshing to see it. And again, I don't see a lot of people coming from it. I want to get into your background later, because that will explain to everybody why you chose this problem. It's kind of scratching your own itch. But you mentioned putting things on the blockchain, and I thought of BlackRock. BlackRock and Franklin Templeton have their own systems, and they're putting treasuries on the blockchain, and they're trying to really get some of these banking assets on the blockchain. When you are trying to build a blockchain-based, derivatives and commodities exchange, do you consider that an RWA play or a real-world asset play, or is it not necessarily?
So, blockchain and the finance world in general have this funny habit of trying to confuse the consumer by calling a nascent or new asset class something that already exists or something that it's not, right? Like RWAs, right? Real world assets. Like, I guess the first and foremost, do you consider a treasury a real world asset, or is that something that's been artificially invented by a government to fund their growth, right? So already you kind of have this confusion between okay, what is real in the real world? But we take, at least internally, when we started to consider, bringing these RWAs on chain, or that's what the industry is calling them now, and I'll put this in air quotes for the moment. But when we started to consider putting RWAs on chain, we kind of developed a thesis around tokenization when it comes to the existence of them in terms of their lifetime, right? Like, assets that are ephemeral or, have effectively a short shelf life, especially for buoyant and liquid markets, these are very, very difficult to tokenize at scale, right? When I start to consider a barrel of oil or a bushel of wheat, to effectively tokenize, 1 million or 10 million or even $50 million, I can do that, right? That's not necessarily what I would consider difficult. You find the right players.
Peter Thiel took $500,000 and turned it into $1 billion using the exact same techniques we're using inside the investment club. He met a CEO, his name was Zuckerberg. He pitched him the deal and he said, okay, I'll give you $500,000. Mark went public and sold the shares to people like you. Well, what happened to Peter? Well, he exited and got a 2,300x return. The wealthy invest in early stage companies, folks. The public markets are for suckers. It's a rigged game. By the way, this happens in crypto as well. It's called pre-sale tokens. This is Solana. Does anybody know this chain? They sold pre-sale tokens for 4 cents. And you can see the date on there, April 5th, 2018. Look at Solana today, folks. That thing's up over 1,000x. The media and Wall Street and all these hype people get you to buy the top. Meanwhile, they put their clients in at the bottom and they use you for liquidity to make their clients rich. You can play this same game. You just have to have the financial education and the deal flow. That's it.
You find the right ways to verify, and then all of a sudden you can cryptographically secure these assets on chain. But the problem, really is that these markets are so big compared to the crypto markets, right? Crypto right now, in terms of its real market cap is about 3 trillion. On the notional is much higher when you start to consider all the derivatives. But the notional value of energy, it's $130 trillion market. Like, you start to think about tokenizing that, and you go start talking to the Shells, the Conocos, the BPs of the world, and all of a sudden you realize that, hey, even if we could tokenize this, what is the point if that barrel of oil is going to be pumped out of the ground and then consumed in a short period of time? And the same goes for agriculturals. What's really fit for tokenization are long, kind of like long tail assets, right? The treasuries, the bonds, the real estate, things that have this longer shelf life. They're so ripe for tokenization. And that's really what the industry has focused on up until this point, right? The BlackRocks of the world are tokenizing money market funds, treasuries, bonds, all the things that you previously mentioned. But these short tail assets and the short tail commodities, like, they have effectively been ignored because no one has thought through the mechanics of what tokenization looks like. And even when we were starting Sphinx, we did go talk to Shell. We went and talked to BP. We went and talked to all these major players, and we really came to the thesis that you can bring something on chain without tokenizing it. You can bring a very transparent, clear trade execution, clearing, and settlement mechanism when it comes to the trade life cycle of some of these assets without having to necessarily tokenize them. And we think that so many projects, especially that are dealing with commodities, have taken a misstep in this because, again, and investors have been short-sighted in this as well, in the sense that, again, to create a small market with these tokenized assets that are short tail, it's not necessarily a trivial problem. But when you start to consider the actual size that you would need to power a global marketplace for something like spot or derivatives, we believe it's a zero-sum game.
Hey, I know investing in crypto is scary. It takes a real leap of faith because there are so many scams, rug pulls, and bad actors out there. It's a dangerous business, which is why 95% of people lose all their money. Well, that's why I created the London Real Investment Club, so you can access the hottest deals on the planet and use the crypto bull market to create the generational wealth that you deserve. Join my team of over 100 people from around the world that are making millions of dollars behind the scenes investing in blockchain, AI, Web3 games, DeFi, Bitcoin, and more. Don't miss out. Click the link below to book a call with one of my team now. But hurry, this bull market will end soon.
I know investing in crypto can be scary. That's why you gotta join the investment club. Pull the trigger. Let's do this.